Salutations. Today we want to pick up where we left off from our first session, talking about basic sales training for insurance agents. If you recall, if you got a chance to listen to the first series, we talked about the match and we talked about the wheel. We said that the match represents a customer or a match. When stricken, the match ignites and can ignite other matches. But when the flame dies, the match is just a piece of wood. I want you to think about that. Do you want to go around chasing pieces of wood? Or would you rather have a match that you can light your barbecue grill with or gain other customers by? Now, keep in mind, one of the things that we're talking about too is being able to survive in sales, especially in the insurance business. And we liken the business like a wheel. You in the middle, you're trying to attract everybody from 360 degrees as the wheel turns. Now, if any of these spokes on our proverbial wheel were to be out of true lining, you'd have a flat. And the more that weren't working, the flatter the side gets. So what you want to do is basically have your system automated so that you can, in turn, be able to continuously draw leads, hot leads, and go out and do some of the other things that you might find successful. As far as your rate of return, having a website, first of all, is one of your greatest rates of return. Why? Because you're accessible. If you do what you're supposed to, or shall I say, if you do the right things, then people will be attracted to your website. If you don't, well, then you have a website and no activity. It's like the field of dreams. If you don't advertise your field, nobody will come to play with you or in it. So today we want to start talking about web design. Because as I was saying, you want an automated system that's running continuously in the background for you. First thing you want to do is determine what kind of brand you're going to have. What I mean by that, I mean, how are you going to present yourself? I'll be showing you here in a little bit my internal workings and how I got started so that you can see how to go about this. But it wasn't overnight that I became a success, for one thing, and it wasn't overnight that I thought about this. Initially, I had an idea rubbing off of long-term care and Medicare, and I called the site LTC-AB2.info. .info you'll find in a minute that's probably a little bit cheaper than some of the other sites out there, and certainly works for your purpose. Now, what are you going to brand yourself as? Are you going to brand yourself as a life agent, a long-term care agent, a Medicare agent? It doesn't matter, but you need to be consistent through all your media points so that everybody knows who they're talking to and can relate to you. Because you don't want to have 10 different venues out there or vehicles going for you. People get confused and they think you're a scam, especially today. So now let's say you've got your brand. You want to get your domain. Let's say, for the lack of better words here, we're going to search our domain name. And as you can see, I've already practiced this once, so we'll use the domain name or brand called Buffalo Bunnies. Okay, don't laugh. It was just something off the spur of my head. All right, so what we want to do is go to a website like this. It could be anyone. I like GoDaddy. I use domain spaces for one. I just happened to pick this one this morning simply because the other sites were giving me a little bit of trouble for some odd reason. But using this as our domain name, let's check and see what's available. Doo-dum, 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 doo-dum. Yeah, it happens that way sometimes. All right, so this site goes out and searches for appropriate domain names. And you can see buffalobunnies.com is available, and you could purchase that domain name for the mere price of $1 for your first year. Or you can get buffalobunnies.org, buffalobunnies.online, buffalobunnies.co, buffalobunnies.info, buffalobunnies.site, etc., etc. Now, I know you're wondering, well, what's that got to do with my website? Well, this is your web address. Okay, this is where people will go to find you. Just like our company has your website.com and / your name. That's so that it can the traffic can get to you. Now, once you determine what your website is going to be called, or your domain name is going to be called, where you can be searched, then you want to get, as soon as this changes over, you want to get a web page. No, you didn't have a web page by just having a domain name. You had a domain name and address. Now you've got to build the house on that piece of property. So to do that, and what I did was open the back door so that you could see what has to be done. But you go to a place like domain spaces here. You get your account set up. You can get your domain name from them, or you can transfer your domain from another company if you find one cheaper, and then have that set up. The next thing you want to do is basically get a website builder. Okay, this is what you actually develop into your web page. The domain is, again, just your address. So when people go there, they're not going to find anything unless you put some property on it. And the way this works, okay, you have your, I'll go back here a little bit too. You have your accounts. You want to get a web page builder. Okay, this company happens to offer several different options. And let's go back to the product. And this will show you what I'm talking about. All right. So in this case, I have a website builder for my websites. I've got a couple of different domain names. Then I can manage my websites. I can regulate workspace email so I can get email there. And they help me get visible on the internet through search engine optimization. All right, that's just another fancy term to help website browsers find you. Okay, so we want to look into my website. All right, and this is actually the back office where you go in with domain spaces, where you go to create your page. And you'll see here, if you haven't already visited my website, you can see here the names of the pages that I've created on the right hand side. This happens to be my home screen. Whenever you land on my website at retirementconcerns.info, you end up here. And then I have a pop-up. It's basically a sales page so that I can advertise the product of the week or whenever I feel like changing it. Okay, I can go into this page I have worked on this and worked on this and worked on this. This didn't all come overnight because obviously I'm by myself. I'm not in the business of creating websites like some people are, and that would be a decision you'd have to make if you don't feel comfortable and don't know your way around the computer. You could have somebody else do it. However, I did this with my own money and kept it as simple and least cumbersome as possible. So I go in here, basically tell the customer that's visiting me about what I do, what I have, and also you notice I included my uh, license. I don't have anything on there that would specifically uh, identify any numbers or anything, but this tells people, at least in my opinion, they are dealing with a licensed insurance salesperson. Now, when I want to start making adjustments to this page, I go in and I add a section. Excuse me. All right, then when I click on the section, the little plus button here helps me add sections. When I click on the section, my screen takes me over here to the individual spots, and I can go in and fix or put in anything that I want to. As you can see, part of the paragraph is be informed, be smart, and be secure. Well, that's here. We're here to help. That's under this body. Uh, get them out of there. Sorry about that. But this has different tabs so that I can go in and create all this stuff that you see here. Now, it'll take a while to actually identify what all these are, but essentially I'm controlling what picture I have here. I'm controlling what background color. I'm aligning it left, right, center. I have promotional banners. That's these up here. I have my logo, which I've embedded in the picture. And then I have my call to action button, like contact me. This leads me in the page, or leads one in the page to my one page that does nothing but ask for information, and that page, once it's complete, is forwarded to me. All right. Next thing on the agenda here um, is we want to determine the design. Various companies have various promotional designs that they use. Whatever you decide is up to you. But you can go up here, create a theme at the top up here, and it gives you the basic layouts. Then you can control your settings, which I don't need to go into. Once you've had all that done, you just simply fill in all the blanks. Now you can choose to have one page or however many pages you want, depending on the company's rules. But let's say we want to add a page. We're going to come in here. We're going to click on the plus button and click new page. Okay, I like to start with the blank page when I create new. And then I go into create page. Okay, down at the bottom, my newly created page should show up. There we go. All right, and you can see outside of the basic stuff that's the top, this is where you add the section. Once you add the section, it gives you a choice of what type of section do you want. You'll see I use various types. You can go into general and go into setting up your about page, your content, frequently asked questions pages, or whatever you want to do. Or you can go into your commerce page and offer gift cards, or you can create a PayPal button if you're selling anything on your line. You can also add videos and audios and podcasts and live streams. You can create a blog, which I linked to another blog that I was using years ago. And you can also go into your image gallery You can put in logos, you can put in photos. It all depends on what you want to do. So let's say we want to add photos. Then we go over here, we choose the layout that we want to use. Okay, and then we click on add for whatever section that we want. Now after we've added the pages, all right, we usually get a button at the top up here that says done, and I haven't, there it is. All right, we'll go back to the blank page, and let's say we add the section. We choose contact us. We choose this one just for the fun of it, and it automatically, as soon as the circle fills in, puts in the information, or at least the basic stuff that we want to put in there. All right, we can go in and change this any which way we want to. We can also delete this section, and I'm going to delete it because I'm going to delete the page. But okay, then finally, whenever we're done, you will see a button up here at the top that says done. You click on done, and then you click publish. And I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to publish a new page to my case here. But now we can go in here, click on delete this page, and we're done for the moment. But as you can see, let me go back to my site. We're going to close out of this site and just go to my basic site, the web address. There we go. We'll show you what we have now. As you can see, my main picture comes up, the different pages here that I have, and the more button lists other pages that are available, all the way down to anything that I wanted to put in there. Okay. Usually we have a pop-up. I don't know what happened to that, but in this case, in this next section, I listed all of our carriers. I listed our promise. I listed what we do, how we do it, our basic policies, and listed our products at one point, what we offer, membership so people know I'm a real person, and then my post office mug so people get to know me better. Now, let's say somebody selects retirement services. Once they click on that, it takes them to what we do. We help you understand Medicare. We maintain a line of relationships, life settlements, or viatical referrals. Buy or sell your home. You never know when somebody's going to need to sell their home. But anyway, I don't want to go through the whole thing. You have the address. You're more than welcome to look over it. Right now, I'm going to wrap up this particular part of the session because I only wanted to focus on web design today, and I think you have a better understanding now of how to go about setting up your website by getting your domain, as well as getting a web builder with the same company or another one, however you want to do it, and then starting to build your website. We'll talk more on this later on. We'll also be looking at the other forms of social media and how to get into them. But I hope you have a better understanding now of what it takes to actually create your website. How you create it is up to you, but I've shown you the basics of getting one set up. Now, if you have any questions, you've got my number, you've got my email address, you know the other connections that we have. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to answer them. And for now, have a good day.